I'm calling this video the best crystal edge vanity tray mold for 3D resin blooms because this is our brand new crystal edge vanity tray mold. I'm using Bond Craftor Art Craft Epoxy Resin along with resin inks in Strawberry and Sun from Octopus Fluids and Casting Craft White Pigment Paste. I mixed up about 6.5 ounces for the bottom there. And I didn't end up using all of it. I had put some in the glitter and I had 1.75 ounces for the white. So it put me around 3.93 ounces to fill that bottom, what we'll call frame area. And that's why this is great for 3D resin blooms. This is V4 of this mold that we've created. We had the frame, then we didn't have the frame. And there is like a little edge that will contain your bloom right there in the center. That way, or your bloom or whatever else you feel like pouring in there where it won't go out onto the crystal edges. And there I'm just putting in my glitter, and I used a different kind of glitter that was floating all over the place, so I had to try and corral it back into the center. And I waited until the resin was about 37 degrees Celsius before I went to mix my white. And by the time I poured it in the center, it was 40 degrees Celsius, so it's not moving very much. And it's getting very warm. And when I was piping the white in, it was actually hot again. But this is the regular just Art and Craft Epoxy Resin by Bond Craftor. Now I'm dropping the Sun resin inks just around the center. And these resin inks are 5 times more concentrated than alcohol inks. They hold their color, which I really love. It makes my blooms look really rich looking. And then this is a brand new color I got in called Strawberry, and I love this color. I'd been holding off using it till we got this tray done, and we finally got it done. I think the first reiteration of this tray we put out in May, and I didn't like a part of it. We did it again, and we did it again, and now we are on V4, and this is the final one, and it is available for sale already. Got it online today. Once I poured in those colors, I then took a silicone pen to just swirl them together a little bit, staying out of the center glitter area. And this little frame, like I said, I'd mixed up 6.5 ounces, but I think this inside area ended up at about 3.95 because then for just the clear resin, and then you're adding in 1.75 with the white. And I think that's enough. More than that, it would have spilled over the little frame area. Later on this week or next week, I'm going to be doing a crackle or dragon scale effect in here, so we'll see how that works in this mold as well. But I do like this area is kind of framed, so you can contain your design within that. And then you have your crystal edges to sparkle on their own. Once I'm done playing around with swirling, I take my white and I put it in a piping bag that I'm going to swirl on top of the colors. And I'm still playing around with the resin. That's why I have to edit this and speed it up. Otherwise, we'd be here for 20 hours watching me swirl resin. And I'm just making little loops with the white. And this was really hot by the time I poured it. The longer you wait for your resin to warm up, the more it will hold its shape. It doesn't dissipate or wisp out. If you use alcohol inks, you will not have this kind of color depth. And I think I just go back around the area again. Just getting rid of that's only 1.75 ounces for the white. Oh, and how many drops did I had in there? I had 15 drops, I think, of the Casting Craft White Pigment Paste. I know for 30 grams, it's 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Yep, 15 drops. And here, I'm just pulling through. It's not really a flower shape, but I'm just trying to get some kind of movement. That little piece of paper towel in my hand starts looking like there's blood on it. It's so red. But this is a beautiful red color. I have Sweet Cherry, which is, I thought that was red. It's more pink. This is definitely a beautiful red. I can't wait to use it in some other pours. And Bond Craftor was nice enough to send me some of their black epoxy resin. I've never used resin that was already pre-mixed black. I always add black pigment paste or black mica. And I was like, is this going to be that different? But I have another bloom that I did with either pigment paste or mica. And when you look at the two next to each other, this one is so black because of this black epoxy resin. The A part is black, the B part is clear, but you just mix it normally. And it turns out they have some little cups in there. I think there was a little bit of glitter that exploded all over the place, so I didn't use that. And then I used some silver hyper hollow glitter from Solar Color Dust. I really like this. It's a very fine glitter, but this resin was so black. I put two of those tiny little scoops in there, and I don't think it really showed at all once I stirred it all in because that resin is so dense. It did save a lot of time not having to mix in the pigment paste or the mica, just having it be black, since I back most of my things in black to make the colors pop on the front side. But anyhow, I'm very excited to have this mold out there. Whenever I'm pouring, I'm like, how can I make my pours better to make them stand out and look different from everyone else's? And that's why I wanted to create this tray mold where it actually had something going around the sides and it wasn't just a flat, non-dimensional piece of resin art when it was done. And then the next day, this took a little bit longer. It took a full 24 hours to cure. I think they say 24 to 48 hours total for curing. But then it was time to demold it. There's my glitter on the backside. Look how black those edges are. It really makes the colors pop a lot. So not only do you have your artwork framed there in the center, you have 4 sides of glittering crystal edges. If you want your resin art to stand out, check out our new Crystal Edge Vanity Tray Mold.